Hello, this is Shalay Washington, and this week's video discussion will be telling the story of post-war America. So, post-war time, it pretty much changed the culture of America, and it brought on new opportunities. For one group in particular, it really changed, and that group was African American women. So there was an increase in white collar workers amongst African American women after World War II due to urban protests, the rise of liberal consensus, and also demographic changes. The particular person that I'm going to focus in for this week's discussion is my great aunt, Ophelia DeVore Mitchell. Ophelia DeVore Mitchell was born in 1922 in segregated South Carolina. She ended up moving to New York, going to NYU, attending the Vogue School of Modeling as a woman of color at only 16 years old, and they did not know that she was an African American woman. So she opened the Grace Marco Agency in 1946 in New York City, along with some of her colleagues and her other friends. So while obtaining a license for her business, the commissioner told her that there was not a demand for African American models, and she simply replied that she would create the demand. In 1948, she started the Ophelia DeVore School of Development and Modeling, which was basically her charm school. So both of these ventures were established and founded because she wanted to shift the overall view of African American women in popular culture and mainstream media. And I quote, um, I wanted to change the popular image of women of color. Media and entertainment industries stigmatized us. Almost nothing was positive. End quote. Because prior to post-war, the fashion industry, it pretty much required Black women to pass as white in order to gain training or employment. Now, my aunt passed, but she did not pass knowingly or purposefully. She pretty much passed as Norwegian and she photographed white. And once she told people of her actual racial background and makeup, many people exclaimed to her, "But you don't look like a Negro." The goal of her charm school was not only to train young women to become professional models, but it was also to help them be able to serve as model people. Ophelia DeVore felt that one of the barriers that held Black women back were the racist characterizations that were embedded within society. And she felt that prejudice had pretty much damaged the view of the Black woman so much that a lot of Black women also started to feel the same way. So even though her social uplift was in beauty, or in fashion, it was still social uplift of the African American woman. And also, with her being a part of the business and the industry, she knew what was needed and what these particular clients and companies were looking for. And at that time, African American women, they were still widely viewed as lacking middle class morals that were pretty much deemed necessary for middle class work. So, with her charm school, only 10% of her students wanted modeling careers, while 30% they attended for job placements, and the remainder they just wanted confidence in themselves that society had pretty much never given them before. My aunt purposefully used the international stage to represent her vision of Black womanhood to the world. And she used European venues, particularly to showcase and build their careers. Because, of course, Europe is pretty much the birthplace of Western. Western standard of beauty and fashion. So she went there and created these careers for her clients and these models. So when they came back to America, they had catapulted. And I quote, I went to Europe and I got acceptance. Then when I came back to America, I had it made, end quote. While she was in Europe, she was able to get a few of her models some huge deals. One in particular was Helen Williams becoming a model for Christian Dior. Helen Williams modeled for Christian Dior in 1959, and by 1961, she was making in between $50 to $100 an hour. When my aunt began hiring models through her agency, black models were only billed out at $7.50 an hour, which was half the rate of a white model at that time. So that was only 10 years prior to Helen Williams making 50 to 100 an hour, and even some of her inexperienced models making 15 to $30 an hour. So it was a double in the rate of the black model. This era was also an expansion of beauty products that were sold for mass consumption and the growth of an advertising industry that promoted African American women. And with an influx of beauty products that were sold for mass consumption for the African American woman, she also promised to teach women how to use them best. So she also created a makeup and cosmetic line to help assist the Black woman with this need as well. And she was also a marketing consultant to major American companies such as Johnson and Johnson, Philip Morris, Pepsi Cola, and many more. Thank you.